sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and can even keep you from getting the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. One of the things I think salespeople, especially those not professionally trained or those that aren't professionals, how about that? You don't have to be trained to be a professional. But what they don't understand is the leverage that they have and what it is that we have that we should not give up until we know what's going to happen next. That's one of my mantras that y'all know, right? Is that you need to always know what's going to happen next. Not think, not believe, but know. What did your prospect tell you is going to happen next? What did y'all agree that was going to happen next? So your leverage is always your information, right? Often your information in writing is your leverage. So before you give away your information by sending a proposal, going over a proposal, whatever, 5 questions you need to have answered. Right? 5 questions. When were you hoping to make a decision? Right? Start there. When were you hoping to make a decision? Right? Because they're not going to make a decision for 6 months or sometimes 2 months or 2 years. Ain't no reason to give your information away now because chances are shit will have changed in that period of time. When were you hoping to make a decision? Question number 2, why then? Right? Why then? Maybe you find out there's some deadline. There's something that's going to pop up that they need to do this much more quickly, right? This will keep you from jumping all over yourself if they say, hey, when can you have this for us? When can you produce? When can you deliver? Keeps you from saying, oh, we can do it tomorrow when they don't give a shit about having it right now, right? When were you hoping to make a decision? Why then? Number 3, who else besides you is going to be part of this process? Not, are you the decision maker? Because maybe they are, but they want to have somebody else with them. Who else besides you needs to be part of this conversation? Right? You need to know who, even if it's a CEO, right? Maybe they can make the decision on their own. Nobody's higher than them, but they may want to have the CFO involved. They may want to have the plant manager involved. They may want to have their CPA involved or their lawyer. You need to know that beforehand. You don't want to give away your shit and then they say, oh, I need to check with my attorney or we got to run this by the board. Here's something about having to run it by the board. If you sell to nonprofits, especially, they've always got to get most things approved by the board. Here's what I want you to do. If they say, well, we got to get it approved by the board, I want you to say, can I make a suggestion? Who is the board member that you're closest with? The one that maybe you talk to on a regular basis, that kind of your sounding board. Why don't we do this? Why don't we invite them to the meeting so that they can either buy into this or not? Because my biggest fear is you take this idea to the board and they look at you like you got 3 heads and you've burned some of your political capital. So suppose instead, let's at this meeting, when I go over our proposal or whatever, have them there so that at the end of that, they can tell us whether or not they bought in themselves. Because if they don't think it's the right thing, guess what? Your deal is sunk, right? And you don't want to put the nonprofit CEO, president, whatever, in that kind of position where they get shot down by the board. That wastes their time, makes them look bad, and sure as hell doesn't help you either. So see if you can get that one of the board members to come to the meeting with you, right? Super important. Find out who else needs to be there. They tell you X, Y, and Z. You can ask why those people. It's fine. Dig in a little bit. So question number 1, when are you hoping to make a decision? Question number 2, why then? Question number 3, who else besides you needs to be a part of this? Question number 4, super important. What would you need to see or hear from me? What needs to be in my proposal for you guys to be able to make a decision? What do you need to see in this proposal for you to be able to make a decision? Remember, we're not asking for a yes. We're asking for a decision, right? Because sometimes yes isn't the right answer. Here's the thing. We believe that other people in the world are either like us or should be like us, right? And so If we need a ton of information, we're probably going to create a proposal that's way more than we need, than the buyer might need. We'll give all the damn details, spend all this time creating something that all they need to know. Maybe what they need to know is they need to know one reference and your price, right? If that's all they need, that's all you should give them. Don't give people more information than they need to make a decision. All you'll do is cause problems for yourself and probably confuse your prospect. They just need to know what they need to know to make a decision. Next question is, who else you talking to? So hilarious. Not hilarious. It's sad when I ask somebody, who's your competition? They say, well, I don't think they're talking to anybody else. Well, how the hell do you know? Did you ask? No. Who else are you talking to? Question number 1, when we hope to make a decision. Question number 2, why then? Question number 3, who else besides you needs to be a part of this? Question number 4, what would you need to see, hear from me in our proposal to help you make a decision? What kind of information are you actually going to need? Next one, who else are you talking to? And the last one is, how are you going to, if they're talking to other people, how are you going to pick? How are you going to pick? See, a lot of people haven't thought this through, right? They just got to go get 3 quotes. You know as well as I do that often picking the middle quote, which is what most damn people do, is often not the right way to pick somebody, right? Most people, when they're picking somebody to work with, they'll look at 3 prices. Some of them have to pick the lowest because of their position or the way their brain works. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be picked because you're low or because some of them only buy low. You don't want to be that person because they will beat the shit out of you. They'll be your worst customer. When they have to buy low, they're putting no value on you at all. All they know is they bought the cheapest and you better damn well be good. I don't ever want to be low. Oftentimes then, if it's not a buy low, then here's what happens. They get 3 prices. They see the bottom one. They say, that one probably sucks. They're probably trying to screw me on something that's definitely not as good. The top guy, that's pretty high. I'd be stupid. I don't want to get screwed. Maybe they're better, but I don't want to get screwed. The middle guy maybe is where I'm going to go. Maybe I have to see if I can beat the top guy down to the middle guy's prices. And if I can do that, I'll pick the top guy. Otherwise, I'm going with the middle. That's the way people freaking decide, which is stupid. Y'all know that's stupid. I know that's stupid. So here's what I want you to think about. And said, hey, tell me something. How are you guys going to make a decision? And you'll probably get blank stares back. Well, we'll pick best value. You're going to get that shit a lot. We're going to pick best value. What does that mean? What the hell is best value? That's completely in the eyes of the beholder. So I'm going to ask that question. So when you say best value, help me understand what that means. All right? Have them explore with you what that means. What is value? Because right there, they're going to tell you what's important to them. Don't take best value as your answer of how they're going to pick. That's a bullshit response. I'm Walker McKay with No BS Sales. Do not give away your information until you know the answers to these questions and you know you've got a decent chance of getting the business. Do not give your information away until you know the answer to these questions and probably a couple more, and that you've got a really good shot at getting the business. Giving your information away to people that don't buy from you will never help you. I'm Walker McKay with No BS Sales. If you want help with your sales process or that of your sales team, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. I talk to people all the time. It won't feel like a sales call to you. It won't be a sales call for me. It's a conversation to see how maybe we can work together. Look forward to talking to you. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast. If you haven't already, please take 1 minute to write a quick review for the show. It really does make a huge difference. Also, subscribe to the show and please forward this episode to somebody else who needs to hear it. As a bonus for listening, I'm going to give you access to a free mini course, 7 expensive sales mistakes you're making and what you can do about it. Go to www.7salesmistakes.com and get access to the free mini course. That's the number 7salesmistakes.com. Thanks again for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast.